Hello, everybody. This is Peter Palmiotti of Human Art Studio. And I'm sort of doing this backwards. So bear with me a little bit. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I am what? 42 away from passing 1,000. That's pretty incredible. And thank you all very much. My new subscribers, my original subscribers, those that have been with me for 30 years, perhaps. Yeah. So I just want to share this out because I didn't do things properly. Kind of just jumping in here. I've had a long day. It's now 7 in the evening. I haven't had dinner. I've been ignoring my cats all day. Such is the way. And I'll be working on this page you see before you in just a moment. And hopefully you can hear me and I'm not super delayed. Like I mentioned, I want to share this out. So waiting for the link to show up. And then I'll start in with my stories. That's what I do. I got stories to tell. Come on, Link. Where are you, Link? This is what happens when I stream. Everything else is super delayed. Okay. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. How is everybody doing tonight? Hope you are well. Okay. Type. Paste. All right. There's that. Groovy. Getting all sorts of congratulations on the Facebooks. Even Kelly Jones is it. It does go by fast. Yes, it does, Kelly. All right. That's enough of that jazzio. All right. So since I just shared a link out just now, I don't expect a lot of people to show up. Not sure how long I'll go. I wanted to go a couple hours, but I got some other stuff to finish tonight. It's going to be an extra long day. For those that don't know, this is page 19 of 28. And yeah, just plugging away. I got 18 pages completely inked. Pages 19 to 28 have some inking. So I'll just show you this page. You can see like some of it. That's all ink. That's black ink. But I'm going over my ink. And there's a fly in my room. Get away from me, fly. Fly away. Yeah, I when I finish the page, I make sure all the blacks are black. It's just a perfectionist in me. But let me open up my bottle ink and get a little work done while I chit chat. So 30 years ago, poor young clueless Peter Palmiotti was just going about his daily life. I was in my 20s back then, late 20s. I was 28 to be precise. And I was working a day job. Out of school, I worked initially as a messenger, and then I worked myself into the mailroom, and then I ran a mailroom. Now, mind you, it was only me, but it was in the World Financial Center, which was across the street from the Twin Towers at the time. And somebody's playing music loud outside. Oh, well. And yeah, I mean, at the time, I was actually working a couple of blocks, not even away from Marvel, where Marvel had its offices. And my brother Jimmy Palmiotti, for those that still don't know, yes, we are brothers. He's my older brother. All my brothers are my older brothers, but only me and Jimmy are in the comic industry. There's also Anthony, goes by Tony, and Victor, but they are into other stuff. But back then, I forget the exact day, so I'm just like sometime in September 30 years ago, my brother asked me, it's like I had a day job and I was making money, but making fairly good money, but one could always do better. And my brother, asked me if I wanted to make a couple of extra bucks. That he was helping out a friend of his, Mark Texier. If you don't know Mark, but back 30 years ago, he was working on Ghost Rider, and let's see. I should really let's do this better. Come on, Pete, get your act. I should really increase this. I think my cats have been messing with my thingamajig. All right. Try to get our camera when I'm working. I'm getting all messages now. So yeah, Mark Texier was working on Ghost Rider. He also did work for Marvel back in the day on Punisher. He's done work for Image. He's done work for, oh God. I hope that's not important. Actually, let me get my Kindle. Because if I start opening windows on my computer, then oh, okay. A friend of mine replying to a message I sent her. Nothing urgent. I can relax. So yeah, Mark Texier was working on Ghostwriter at the time. Yeah, he's worked for everybody, the majors, and he's freaking super talented. He was talented 30 years ago. He's only more so now. He's still busy in comics. Anyway, my brother was getting help Tex, finish an issue of Ghostwriter. The case was that, it was pretty much due overnight. Tex fell behind on the schedule. And so he had Jimmy, he had me, he had Ken Branch. And I always think there was one other person with us. But so after work, I met up with Jimmy outside of the Marvel building, and we went upstairs into the Marvel bullpen, and that was my first time up in the Marvel building. So you can gather that it was freaking amazing to be up there. I grew up reading comics, and I went to art school, cartooning and animation. Was high school art and design. Then I took a couple of years of college for advertising art, and art was in my blood. And also, like when I was in college, I got into writing. Wanted to write the Great American Novel, which I was still yet to do. But I had dreams of working on comics, but I never. At that point, I haven't pursued it. I was sort of like drifting around in my 20s, or having fun, being a kid. Got into video games and other stuff, and like I said, writing and just lots of goofing off and clubbing and all kinds of stuff. But I was into comics when I was very young. My brother reminded me, like, the first comics we saw were like Richie Rich and Archie comics. When we were very young, we went to our local barber, and he had a stack of comics for keep kids occupied and not, bored out of their minds while they waited to get their haircut. And so, I was into comics, and it's like I tried to make my own comic. Sort of did it for fun, but failed. But it was a good experience. I drew a lot, but it wasn't really focused. When I did school, I did a lot of whatchamacallit. I did a lot of different projects in different fields. So, like, there was some photography where we're using chemicals to develop our own photos. I made a short film with a Super 8 camera with a bunch of my friends. Did a flip book. I remember doing a flip book, so some animation, lots of illustrations. Like a project for the yearbook was to do a finished piece. And I remember my favorite, my totally top teacher, favorite teacher of all my art teachers was Mr. Ferguson. And he told me to do it better. And then he told me, start over, do another one. He really was pushing me to do better quality work. And he's like, get a couple of issues of Playboy and get some reference, because I was drawing women still to this day. I could be better at drawing women. So anyway, by the time I was working my day job, and my brother asked me if I wanted to make a couple of bucks. He told me what it would involve, which was essentially, filling in blacks on pages. And he was inking some backgrounds. Ken was inking some backgrounds, filling in some blacks as well. The text was just like drinking coffee, eating donuts, and scribbling on pages, like he just like a madman, picking up random pages and developing images tighter. And Jimmy was going in and doing the same. But yeah, as I was filling in some blacks, I was, in the office for the first time. So I was just happy and amazed to be there. And it literally took 10 minutes. Yes. Comics mate, 30 years. Or should I be singing? I'm sorry. Not at all. Not at all. Totally love being in comics. Trust me, I could have walked away at any point. But yeah, just being up in the mall offices for the first time, and mind you, this is back in the day where it was super easy just to walk into the building, no security whatsoever, nobody cared. It was just all of us essentially in a Marvel bullpen, which I was a big fan of Stan Lee's bullpen bulletins, and there I was filling in blacks in the latest Ghost Rider issue, looking around the bullpen, looking around at all the offices surrounding the bullpen, which were all the editor offices, all the posters they had on the wall. It was freaking amazing. And it took me literally just 10 minutes of being there, knowing like all the comics I've read growing up, and how I on and off again dreamed of, maybe someday I'll work in comics. It was sorry, I'm getting messages. Sorry, I'm writing something. I'll be right with you. The work never ends. Okay, so yeah, it's like I never made that full of a commitment, but it took no time at all in my head to decide that comics is what I wanted to do for a living, and inking would be my in, knowing that even though I knew I was crappy, but I had potential to be good, and I figured, I'll assist my brother, and I assisted some other inkers, filling in blacks and eventually inking backgrounds for everybody. And I trained myself on any gig I got. Like, everything was training. Everything was, in the beginning, it was super low pay. We'll give you, only whatever, $25 a page, but we'll give you a couple of copies when you're done. Let's see. Somebody trying to call me. Let's see if they respond. So yeah, like, I made a decision in a short amount of time, just being in awe up at the Marvel offices, working on a comic I grew up reading, and really, like, I knew my brother. I followed his early days progress. That he was like an inking assistant to somebody back in the day, and worked his way into getting work at Marvel. And he was still in that sort of transition, like he had a day job, and he was just trying to get his foot totally in the door himself. And I think I don't think I'm getting this response. Okay. I think I heard him at some point, like when somebody asked him how long you've been in comics, like somehow I've been in comics longer than he has, but that's not the case. He's been in comics longer than me. For years, he dabbled while he was still at the day job, and I think he was still at the day job when that was already full blown. So we got some people here. We have Landon. Welcome. We have Matt. 30, way to go. And we have Mark Torres, otherwise known as It Came from the Radio. How do you know it's 30 years today, or did I miss that part of the video? I don't know that it's 30 years today. I do know that it's officially sometime in September. It might have been earlier September, but I've been crazy busy this month, and almost didn't celebrate in December. But I figured that would be super sad if it didn't actually celebrate the month of. But yeah, 1991, 30 years ago, sometime in September, probably earlier September. I don't know if there's a way to track it down. Honestly, I do remember some early work, but my earlier work was published months later. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to track it down. I don't even remember what issue of Ghost Rider I was helping out on. But maybe if I looked over the issues of Ghost Rider that were out 3 months later than September, then it might ring a bell. But even that wouldn't say what date anyway. Far from the point. Yeah, it was sometime, sometime in September that I started in the industry, and I worked for independent comics for years. Barry Blair was somebody I worked with early on. He was a friend of my brother's, and I remember meeting him a bunch of times at conventions, local conventions. New York had local conventions always. And he did a lot of elf comics. His books really, like, they're kind of amateurish. and I thought, I could lend a hand and make them look better. What really struck me is that he had this guy, Dale Keown, working for him, or had worked for him at that point. At the point I started working for him, Dale wasn't working for him anymore. But Dale did some fantastic books for him. Dale was always a good artist. But like my very first full ink job, was Personality Comics. They did all the crew of Star Trek, the original cast, the real actors in their real lives. So I got Dr. McCoy, DeForest Kelly. I got his comic. So you can look that up and go buy a copy on eBay or whatever. I'm sure it's worth thousands of dollars. Some of that was great, great for my skill level at that time. Some of it was horrible. Landon Singh, congrats on 30 years in comics. That's a pretty big milestone, man. You should be proud of yourself. I am. It's like I've had great years. I've had hard years. I've had years where, it's like I had a day job going and I'm muddled through evenings and weekends or whatever. I've been in relationships. I'm currently single, although I would say I kind of sort of have a girlfriend, but nothing's official. And here goes a message I got. Okay, let's see what it is. Anything? Where's the message? Oh, on my way. Okay. I might have to step away for a minute. Jeez. So much for my celebration. I must have did it at the wrong time. Hope she's watching this live feed. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've had years on and off, with somebody, and we're just, seeing if it develops into something. It's a long distance thing, and unfortunately, her father just passed away, and she's been out of town. But she'll be back soon, and we'll get a chance to chat and see where things are at. But it's like I know I'm pretty obsessive about what I do, and pretty obsessive about comics and art, and it's definitely, I say career, and she's like, "What do you mean by career?" And it's like, I should just say lifestyle, because really just my work consumes me. And I understand I'm not always the easiest person to get along with. So, it's tough being a partner of mine. But yeah, ever since that first night of helping out on Ghostwriter, I've been, I took the first, I would say 4 or 5 years where I was literally in my own boot camp, where I assisted Jimmy, and like I said, I assisted some other inkers, and okay. All right, give me 3 minutes, Jesus. I'll be right back. Nefarious, welcome. Thank you, buddy. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta walk away. Hey, I'm back. Oh my God. So where was I? Okay. Really quick, Nefarious. Congrats, my dude. Thank you so much. Landon says, page is looking great. All right. I go outside, I come in, all my kitties are outside, and now they're all over me. 3 minutes starting now. Quick. He's coming. I'll talk about him. Hey, 24 eyes. He's been in comics my whole life. Yo, 24, no. Yeah. Been in comics a long time, and it's like I've always been of the mindset that I'm just happy to be working in comics. Though there's a obsessive, compulsive part of me that wants so much more, and that's what I've been working towards for a long time now. And what is that? Oh, okay. Some dirt on my page. I was like, those inks look funny. That it's like I really like retro is my flagship, but I have tons of things I want to do above and beyond that. But specifically, like, retro is the beginning of my superhero universe. And I have a bunch of other characters, and I want to do a team book. And I have artists that want to work with me, and somehow, in some way, I got to finance all this. And it's like I had potentially ways to do that, but things happen and things don't happen, and blah blah blah. But the whole global thing has derailed me as well and whatnot. But anyway, things are sort of on mark, on going moving forward. I got a bunch of projects I'm doing with other people, a bunch of people who are here currently, and I'm finally beginning the first issue of Retro into people's hands. And I have a number of other books I'll be getting out. Anyway, it will increase my chances of making decent money or better money than I've been making. And I'll be able to really push forward next year with more of my own thing. 24 is saying, hey, comics mate. So yeah, I'm really excited at what the future holds. But yeah, the first 4 or 5 years of me working in comics is really like one of my cats is dangerously close. But she's sitting down cleaning. Okay, good. Normally I have the cats outside, or I put them up somewhere in the house if it's not so great out. So they're not disturbing me while I'm working. But I'm just trusting that they're going to leave me alone right now. But yeah, I was training 24/7. I was like getting little sleep, working day and night. Whenever I didn't have an independent comic to ink, I was trying to get better at inking. And it took me years. It took me, I worked for Valiant back in the day as a background inker. And it was during that time that I was really finally getting better, and caught the eye of one Jim Keown, who a couple of years later asked me if I wanted to ink Aquaman, which still to this day is mostly what people know me for. Let's see. You need to join that lawsuit against Paul. That will give you another $1 too. Not really for the, it's like, even though I worked at Marvel longer, technically speaking, I still think I did more work at DC. Even though like most of my work at DC is on one title, most of my work at Marvel was a bunch of random things. I did a one-shot with Sentry from ForceWorks with Keown. That was a 48-page one-shot. But mostly I inked random X-Men pages. It was at the time where they had teams of pencilers and inkers and like a dozen X-Men books, and they just needed more and more people to turn stuff over overnight. And I never considered myself a fast inker, but that's all the most of the work I was getting was like, we need these 2 pages, we need this page, we need this. They even had me working in the bullpen to get a couple of pages done. Twice I think I worked there, and that's like never the case. They never have pencilers or inkers working in the bullpen. That's strictly for production and stuff like lettering and whatnot, color corrections. Yeah, they had me do it because they just needed stuff left and right, and it was insane. And I got to work on a slew of amazing artists that I wish I had more time on their pages, but it is what it is. I think I did incredible work, but I never got a chance to ink a regular book for them, and that kind of sucked. But it is what it is. It's like editors have lists of the top 20 or 60 people that they're going to hire next, and even though I was on it, other people were before me. Hey, Jason Alexander, otherwise known as Pop Burger Studios. Peter, happy anniversary. Thank you. Aquaman 2 is coming out soon. Time to cash in. I did get a royalty check. When the movie came out, they also released, actually for the first time, the issues of Aquaman I worked on, like two trades. It was specifically designed for Peter David's work. But so it was like Time and Tide, the miniseries he did ahead of the ongoing Aquaman series back in the day. And then, so I believe my work is in the second trade of Aquaman / Peter David. So essentially they reprinted issues I worked on, and yeah, I got a little royalty check from that, and it was nice, came and went. It wasn't as much as I got for working on the book, but it's free money. They like we had a contract we signed back in the day, and they actually ripped those up and made a new contract for us so that we could get royalties, because we signed a contract back in the day saying, hey, any money this makes now is what we'll get. Anything else is null and void, or however the wording goes. But yeah, I'm so happy. And Mark mentions, I love that Century book. I still have it in storage somewhere. Awesome. Yeah, I liked it too. I was really proud of the fact that I did a full book for Marvel. Hey, everybody. But, it's like, I remember, like, of all the X-Men work I did, I know I was at least credited once, and that was Uncanny X-Men 360. And you know, what a fantastic issue to be credited in. Me and some other people that were helping out at the time. But you know, it's like I got to ink a couple of covers. Like one was War Machine. Unfortunately, it was like his alien armor, which was, you know, Cal Fury designed it, but frankly, I liked his War Machine, his regular War Machine outfit better. I got to ink a couple of issues of Iron Man, not every page, but a good amount of pages. And Iron Man is my favorite Marvel character in many ways. I inked a Deadpool cover. Inked something for Billy Tucci. Battle Books. I think that was his own creation. I forget now, but that had a Gambit cover, so that was cool. But yeah, I worked on Gambit. I worked on Cable, worked on Uncanny X-Men, regular X-Men, Wolverine, did a bunch of random pages for random issues of Wolverine. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. It's like, I know I was getting regular work for 4 years, so I forget most of it, I guess. And I didn't have a printer at home or any way to copy pages, so I copied a batch, but and I've shared them throughout the years, but I'm sure the majority of the work, which was due overnight, was all but forgotten. Anyway, there's so many cats roaming around me. It's making me nervous. But I guess it's more important than me chatting. It's more important than me inking, I guess. So here's an inking question. How much inking do you need to do to be credited on a page? I know about just filling in the blacks and backgrounds, but how is it decided? Is there an official guide? No, there's not an official guide. It's really up to the editors or you know, people who in charge. Frankly, there's no one way of doing it, so it's completely random. I'm not even sure technically if I inked pages in issue 360 of Uncanny X-Men, but I know that's when they decided to give me credit. Yeah, it's not a scale of how many pages that if you worked on an X amount of pages, then you'll get credit. Because, you know, most of the time they didn't get credit unless you inked half a book, which I never did in the X-Men office, as we call it. Yeah, you know, like I know with when Jimmy and Joe were doing Marvel Knights, Jimmy would be 100% willing to give credit to everybody that did any part of anything. Joe, on the other hand, wanted to give nobody extra credit. I inked a lot of backgrounds on Marvel Knights books, specifically Daredevil, that Joe penciled and Jimmy was inking. Nefarious asks a very particular question. When is Retro coming to IG? That's Indiegogo for those not in the know. Retro is coming to IG when Retro is freaking done. I'm shooting for November. I got a stack of things I want to get done. It came from the radio's graphic novel in particular, which is called Designated. I'm about 1/5 in. I got like most of it to go. And I thought IG was Instagram. It's Indiegogo. When is retro freaking done? Well, the inks will be done soon, meaning next month. And I'll be starting on the color, but I also got production and final script and all that. Retro is done this year, one way or another. That is my number one priority over all else. But I still got to make a living. Still got to keep a roof over my head. Still got to pay for internet. But yeah, retro is getting done this year. You are correct. IGG is Indiegogo. I left the last G off. Because Peter is a G. What does that mean? A gangster? You calling me a gangster? Is that what that is? Oh, I meant to look at your. So, what's your icon supposed to be? It looks like Iron Man. Is that Iron Man? Nefarious? It's pretty cool, whatever it is. But yeah, retro is getting done this year. I want to really get Designated done this year. She is in play a gangster, like an OG is on the original gangster. Yes, indeed. Is that your dwarf? What's up, buddy? You want to go out? Oh, okay, I'll be right back. Yes. Oh, you people don't know. There's so much cat drama going on. Yes, Dean. It's my dwarf. My icon is Iron Dwarf. My dwarf in the book, Dwarfs vs. Lions. Oh, cool. I think yours is too, right? So comics mate is your dwarf Nefarious? Indeed. Dean and dwarf the beating one. Dean's dwarf is a hottie. Oh, is a hat. Hottie. Where do you get hottie? Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of rambling, but I got much better because I really did a lot of independent comics. And this is maybe 93, 94 for 2 or 3 years. And, you know, I worked for a lot of independent publishers, small independent publishers, books you'll never find. Stuff I'll never remember. I know I worked for Valentine, which is Dan Cooney, his own project. I worked on Razor, which is a Bad Girl Everett Hartsoe. I think those were both before Aquaman. Some stuff might have been during. Still doing. Hey, the cat knocked something off the table because that's what they do. Don't you mess with that. Somebody got me a 30th anniversary gift, and you're screwing it up. That's clear. She she digs into anything that's cardboard. But yeah, I started getting good on Razor. Rich Pollard was mostly the artist I worked on. Although this penciler, Rich Fuchsia, also did some Razor work that I inked, which is where I originally met him and lost touch with him. Met up with him again years later on Facebook, thanks to technology and modern science. But yeah, it's like I had a good 7-year run between my very first work was for Marvel before Aquaman. I did some random Punisher pages. Marvel Comics Presents and Punisher Annual. I don't think I was getting credit to either. Then I did Aquaman for a couple years, randomly between issues 10 and 48, I think was my last issue. Inked something like 26 issues and did a whole bunch of the covers too. But the first issue 10, I did from cover to cover. Later, randomly, some other pages were inked by Mark McKenna, whatever. But yeah, that was the most grueling time in my life, doing a monthly. And I really want to get back to that, but on my own book, we'll see. So Mark has some comics. What do you look for in a penciler? Your work cover, meaning are there certain things you are drawn to? Pun intended. I like somebody who's not super tight, meaning, if they're a bit loose, not super loose, and then I have to interpret a lot, but semi-loose, because I've worked on mostly like Cal Fury throughout the years, professionally, like, with the big two. Although I did work on a couple of dozen other artists as well, but to a small degree. And Cal Fury is super, super tight, although, I learned over time how to add to that. Yeah, so that's my preference. Somebody who's semi-tight. It's, where it is room to interpret, but the drawing skill is there. He also says, can you always recognize your work? You just mentioned that you did stuff you forgot about. This point is more I forgot about than I'll ever remember again. But kind of, sort of. I mean, I could look at a book and remember actually working on the pages. And then there's stuff I completely forgot about because of, sometimes when you're grinding, you don't remember squat. I know it back in my 20s, 30s, and even 40s, I did plenty of overnights where I was working like days in a row where I barely slept, and yeah, I probably don't remember a lot of that work. And Furious says, I like someone who's not super tight. Damn, Peter, this isn't Tim. You know, not super tight. You know what I'm talking about. You're so funny. But yeah, it's, you know, I forget more things I worked on, and it takes me a little while. Like if I really sat here for 10-20 minutes, I can start remembering more and more. But and now, you know, currently I'm all over the place, like you know, working on my own creative project. I got inking gigs with other people, creative projects starting up. You know, I'm trying to pull in more money, so I'm not freaking starving every other month. You know, because my rate is super low. It's like, you know, I make 50 a page. I make rate and a half for covers. You know, if you want to throw me more, then throw me more. But that's like the standard now. And actually, you know, for a little while, I was trying to get a bigger rate, and you know, I got paid more from other people, specific people. But I have an art rep now, and I actually made a decision to take him on and decrease my rate and potentially, you know, get some, maybe not better books to work on, but more well-known books with some of the bigger independent publishers out there. You know, I'm not really interested in working for Marvel DC again. Hold on a second. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. When you have a tribe of cats, it's I ought to put a hole in the door so they can let themselves inside and out. So now I forget what I was talking about. Yeah, if remind me. I can't believe I'm talking about so much. Sometimes when you're grinding, Peter, what did I just tell you? You're filthy farting on YouTube. Yeah, you know, it's oh yeah, I'm all over the place currently, working on a bunch of different things. Yes, I have my art rep, and yeah, I would like to work on some books that are more, you know, out there, like with some publishers that have been around for years. Like I never worked for Dark Horse, and always, you know, I dropped them a line or two a couple of times and never got a response. You know, never worked for Harris back in the day. I'm not sure who has Vampirella now. Is IDW? I never worked for them. There's plenty of publishers I have worked for, but they're more the small time self publishers. I'm interested in doing more work around crowdfunding, meaning is all these people doing alternate covers, and I'm doing a batch of them lately. With Nefarious, I did a cover for Mavericks, and really proud of that cover. I'm doing 6, maybe more covers for another crowdfunder anthology book coming up called American Alchemist. which is some of the amazing covers you saw me share recently. I got more going on. But yeah, I would like to do full art for a bunch of crowdfunders, and you know, like I want to do some fan art too, and you know, potentially you could always sell fan art of people's characters. Like I do want to do my own Mavericks piece. You know, my schedule is completely bogged down, but I will eventually get to doing one of them. And there's like a bunch of favorite books I have out there. I want to do one of tragedy, you know, a fan piece of that, like my full blown artwork. But for now, I'll have to settle for doing fan art of a lot more popular characters. So I'm gonna do. I decided to do Inktober, and if I can stream every day, I'm going to do that next month. And I'm going to do, you know, Spider-Man, Captain America, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Fantastic Four, you know, all the popular characters, X-Men, Teen Titans, throughout the month of October, and so come back and see my versions of all your favorite characters you grew up on. But yeah, so like for the next 10 years is where I see me coming out with just a stream of books of my own characters. I got one-shots in mind. I got graphic novels in mind. And I got my regular ongoing superhero stuff that I want to be doing and going on. And maybe, you know, it's like I got a story I'm writing for somebody else for another anthology, and I'll be inking that story with an artist. And I want to do some more writing, and Mark just asked, since many inkers do digital inking, what are your thoughts on doing NFTs? Well, I have an NFT out with Sammy Flores. And maybe I'll link that NFT in the description of this video when I get around to getting to it. This is just a print we did, standard print, and then an animated print. And we're going to do another one, but him and my friend Gary are doing a NFT comic that I'm not a part of, but so I dipped my toe into NFTs. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a lot more or any more, but we'll see. I'm always open to doing things. But since you mentioned the digital inking, you know, I did have a crowdfunder to get a digital drawing tablet, which I have a XP pen or X pen. And for that, I'm going to use that if I master it to do the coloring for retro. As far as digital inking, I will dabble, but frankly, I love traditional too much. Although it will save me time, well, it will save me money on what is it? Art supplies, which is like I currently ran out of paper to print stuff out on. But I will be ordering some more when I have cash. I don't trust myself to ink traditionally. I make so many mistakes. Oh man, that's like that's why there's white paint. There's white. I have a white pen. What is this called? This is called acrylic painter. And you can see the acrylic painter from a company BAISKIE. I think it's Japanese. I could be wrong, but it's like you shake it and you jab it on paper, and it comes out fresh. It's very good. So anyway, there's ways to work traditionally and make mistakes and learn along the way. It's like anything. Anything you want to get better at, you put time into, and you will. As long as it's the level of commitment you put towards something. Which for me is like in my current state of madness, I want to improve my production. And I've had some setbacks this month, but hopefully you'll see an improvement in my production next month, and the remainder of this year, because I would like to close out this year without being insanely busy. But I do want to get a lot more done. But listen, folks, thank you one and all for coming and checking this out. Please give this video a like so it gets seen across the YouTubes that much more better. Thank you if you already subscribed. If you haven't, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Trying to get to 1,000, and I believe last I looked, 42 away, and we all knew what 42 is. 42 is the answer to the universe. So thank you everybody who subscribed recently. You are amazing. But if you haven't, do so. If you really want to support me, become a Patreon. I occasionally throw stuff there. One day I'll become a regular and throw stuff there regularly, but we'll see. But that's a way of supporting me. You can also support me directly by going to www.paypal.com. No, what is it? PayPal. PayPal.me/Peter Palmiotti, and throw me any amount you want. You should start a master class in inking and start churning out Peter clones like they did in the old days. Yes. No more Kirby clones. They'll be Palmiotti clones. One day I'm going to do a video tutorial. I sort of have one up on my channel. If you go to my channel, scroll down through the videos, you'll see inking tutorial, which me and my friend got together talking about inking. But I will do an official one at some point, and I probably should work on the side and start writing out ideas and script and whatnot, so that it's like professionally done. It's been my plan to do one. So that is in the works, my friend. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Share this out to your friends. 30 years in comics, no mean small feat, let me tell you. But love you one and all. Thank you for being my fans. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for following my career. And thank you for watching my videos, liking my art posts and crazy, silly, stupid Facebook posts, all that jazz. All right. Have a great night. I got more work to do. I got to eat dinner and feed my cats and lots of